Can you hear me? They are already looking for you.
The trespasser is in the air ducts.
If there's anybody alive out there, please respond.
A single, desperate survivor is no asset.
A trespasser spotted in the area.
I guess we're kind of similar, you and I. We both chose to fight.
This is Ghostrunner.
Ghostrunner is a first-person, free-running infused slasher set in a gritty cyberpunk world. It's basically a blend of Mirror's Edge and Dishonored, two games I have actually played. In it, you take control of the Ghostrunner, a blend of flesh and tech designed to do one thing: annihilate everything in sight. And also maybe save humanity, if you feel like it. The game was developed by One More Level and Slipgate Ironworks, and is currently available on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch for $29.99. The story begins with the Ghostrunner waking up after being broken several years earlier in a coup. The game takes place in Dharma Tower, the last refuge of humanity after an apocalyptic event known as the Burst. The tower has fallen into ruin since the opening cinematic. Hostile takeover. And cyber-augmented soldiers oppress what's left of the people. Shortly after awakening, you meet the Architect, a mysterious figure who acts as a voice in your head, telling you where to go and what to do. Later on, you also meet Zoe, one of the last rebels trying to fight the oppressive regime. Something I wasn't expecting is that the Ghostrunner actually has a voice, and most of the plot is told from him talking to either the Architect or Zoe.
You said they were dead.
The voice acting is great for all of the main cast, and helps to carry the story forward. Zoe has genuine emotion in her character, and the Architect has a cold, for the greater good vibe about him.
You're awake!
Yes.
How? We've been rebuilding you for months. We tried everything we could to wake you up, but you never would.
To what purpose? The poor souls never stood a chance against Mara. Fixing you was the only thing they could help me with, and they were already on it.
Speaking of the story, it's mostly what you'd expect from the genre, with themes like what it means to be human or what really makes someone a monster. While it can be a bit predictable at times and has some standard tropes, it's how Ghostrunner handles its ideas and executes them with subtlety and nuance that makes it stand out. None of it ever felt forced or heavy-handed, and I greatly enjoyed the story overall. Just like all classic cyberpunk sci-fi should, Ghostrunner's visuals have some serious style. The levels take you through plenty of locations, and just when I was getting sick of the same old industrial lower levels or gray corridors, Ghostrunner would blow my mind with a brand new, completely different looking area. Even the main menu looks awesome. And I have to make a special mention of Cybervoid, the digital world where you acquire new abilities. The entire place feels like a virtual simulation, and every visit would bring a stunning new theme and vista to gawk at. In fact, there were some places in the game that looked so good that there were several moments where I had to just stop and take in the glorious sci-fi view. The game also supports ray tracing on PC, which I was unable to test because of reasons. You can never stop to take in a view for too long though, as Ghostrunner's gameplay is fast. Like, really fast. There are two major parts to the gameplay, movement and combat, and they blend together perfectly. The movement system is incredible, and the stylish tutorial does a great job of teaching you the basics. You can sprint, dash, wall run, and slide. You also have a grappling hook ability from the start, which is awesome. It's a good thing that the movement is so fluid too, as the game challenges you to combine these abilities right from the start, and has puzzles that require near perfect timing throughout. Combat is fantastic, and unforgiving. Nearly everything in the game is one hit, one kill, including you. Get hit once, you die. Miss a jump, you die. Thankfully, frequent checkpoints, instant load times, and being able to restart a section at the push of a button stop any immediate frustration. allowing you to immediately give it another shot. One of your most important tools is the shift mechanic, which slows time to a crawl, allowing you to dodge attacks and survey your surroundings. It feels badass, and dodging right past bullets in slow motion never gets old. The progression is great too. Over the course of the game, you'll visit Cybervoid several times, unlocking devastating new abilities, usually after some puzzle that made my head hurt. These have a cooldown period after use, but they can turn the tide of a fight, or straight up end it before it begins. There's also a mod system, allowing you to improve your abilities in cool ways, including getting a second dash, decreasing ability cooldowns, upping an ability's range, and even allowing you to use a special attack twice in a row. It's also its own Tetris-like minigame, and you'll need to puzzle it out in order to get the most effective build. While movement and combat are both great on their own, Ghostrunner's most impressive feat is just how well they work together. Enemy encounters are usually in open areas with plenty of room to move around, and you need to. Stopping for even a moment will lead to instant death. Each combat room is like a puzzle with multiple solutions, and you'll need to combine all of your abilities to find a way through and prevail. After beating a room, I often notice several other routes or key features I missed, and it's very tempting to keep restarting until you can pull off that flawless run. The amount of variety in Ghostrunner's gameplay is insane. Nearly every level adds new environmental obstacles, enemies, or mechanics right up until the end of the game. This forces you to change how you're playing in order to succeed. The best part is that none of these additions feel out of place or overused. They're used just enough so that you can get used to dealing with them, and then Ghostrunner will throw something else at you. Dealing with these new obstacles can be tough, especially towards the end where you'll have to deal with loads of them in the same encounter. Some of the later game enemies are particularly difficult, and there were a couple that creeped me out and sent me into full panic mode. The last few levels really do put everything you've learned to the test, as the last levels in any action game should. It's a shame I can't give the same amount of praise to Ghostrunner's boss fights. There's only 3 of them in the game, and sadly a couple of them can be more frustrating than fun. The final boss in particular suffers from an annoying amount of repetition if you die too much. The first one is overall good, especially in its later phases, but can be frustrating to figure out. However, the second boss is fantastic. I won't show it here cause spoilers, but it really plays to the game's strengths, and was one of my favorite moments in the entire experience. Ghostrunner also has plenty of collectibles to hunt down, and they're worth finding. Artifacts are objects that give you a glimpse into the history of Dharma, and do a good job of expanding the world. A few audio logs also expand on the lore, giving some good background on the events leading to the game's opening.
Version 11 doesn't work either. It just spouted nonsense for half an hour and then terminated itself.
There's also katana paint jobs that change the appearance of your weapon, and these are awesome, coming in genuinely vibrant and colorful designs. A few of them are even animated like this purple one, which I used for the rest of the game after discovering. There's a fair amount of levels in Ghostrunner, and most of them can be completed in 10 to 20 minutes, with a few being longer at around 40. The game can be finished in around 7 hours, but if you think you're done in Dharma by then, think again. There's loads of replay value here. Achievements challenge you to use your abilities in specific ways, and even complete a level without dying. This game is a speedrunner's dream. It tracks how long it takes you to finish a level, and how many deaths it took, putting them on a leaderboard to compare to any friends that also have the game. I also missed over half the collectibles on my first playthrough, and plan on going back to track down every last one. The real reason you'll want to keep playing though, is just because the combat is so damn good. There's more to come too. As I was working on this review, the developers dropped a major update, adding a brand new hardcore mode that's free for all players, along with a small paid DLC. Hardcore mode isn't just a standard difficulty increase. This is a full rebalancing of the entire game, and it isn't playing around. I figured that out when I tested it and had to fight late game enemies. In the tutorial area, I would love to play through this entire mode to see what I think of it, but I'm just not good enough at the game. At least not yet. Rest assured that this mode is more than enough reason to play through Ghostrunner a second time, and you start with all your upgrades from the first time around, so it's a true test of your skills. The Winter Pack DLC is really cheap, it only adds a couple of new cosmetics, but they look awesome. And with the developers saying there's more to come, it sounds like there'll be plenty of reasons to keep coming back to Dharma in the future. I also want to make a special mention of the soundtrack, composed by Deluxe. Every track has an awesome cyber techno beat to it, ranging from nice and calm to super intense. The music really adds to the experience, to the point where if it's turned off it feels like a piece of the game's core is missing. It also just feels great to listen to on its own, and it is well worth buying if you like it. Ghostrunner is one of the best gaming surprises of 2020. It has a well-told story, a wonderfully realized cyberpunk setting, and a gameplay loop that just grabs you and refuses to let go. The fantastic mod system and a load of awesome cosmetics make it fun to customize your playstyle and appearance. With plenty of collectibles I've yet to find, times I have got to beat, and more to look forward to in the future, I can see myself playing this game a lot more. If you're looking for an awesome, fast-paced cyberpunk experience, Ghostrunner is the game for you. Alright, and with that, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll have more videos coming soon, and until next time, keep on slashing.